Welcome to Navarrero's online showcase video, M.I.A. edition. Today we are finally at the cattle farm. Last time was pretty painful. We had like 3 different derailments on screen, plus one that I had before the recording and also after the recording, trying to bring the stuff over here. 3 more. And that was really just from somewhere over here where we stopped last time, going through a few switches over 2 crossovers, and yeah, this one in particular killed me multiple times, just the tender jumping off the track 3 times. And yeah, all I had to do is bring it over to this point, and yeah. Anyways, we made it. So let's do the unloading. Of course, I'm still missing water in order to do everything here and get some cows made. But yeah, we can at least do some stuff right now. So let's unload some straw, let's unload some grain. I tried lining up the cars here, but it seems like unless maybe the water cars are a bit longer or something, it doesn't really line up too well with one car in the middle as a space holder. I mean, it kind of works, but also it's not as good as I would have hoped for. So the whole triple unloading, oops, going in reverse here, isn't really that much of a big deal. So I don't think we're ever gonna do this to begin with. It's gonna be more of a problem than really any solution. Also, I'm gonna announce it right now. This might be the last episode for a while. After what happened the last time, I'm just thinking it's better to take another hiatus, see if they eventually fix it, and if not, well, I mean, I'm gonna come back to the 1.0 update and see what it's worth, and yeah, we'll go from there. But I really don't enjoy having to deal with so many random derails and stuff like that just happening all the time. So yeah, that's my consequence out of this. Really not having that much fun, and I think you can understand why, so yeah, at this point, better to maybe take some time off after this. I'm gonna try loading up all the cars here, and we are going to try bringing it back to the, I was about to say grain factory, but no, the wheat farm. I mean, same difference. But yeah, if we can't make it, then I have some other plans. And yeah, what can I say? For figuring out how to really do these industries efficiently, I need to be able to run the trains, and I do not want to deal with that while I'm constantly having to re-rail everything. Might be able to unload this as well right now. Yep, that looks fine. So we are basically done with unloading after this. And yeah, still amazing. Working pretty well here. It's just that I wish I could just teleport the trains between different places here. I think that has a slightly higher chance of working right now. Anyways, we are done here. We should get back onto the main line. I'm wondering. We might be better off just doing it in reverse actually, so let me set that up real quick. Oh wait, it is already set up basically, because we're just gonna go on the main line in reverse, go off on the next track, and that's gonna be it. So yeah, of course the usual problem. Just gonna click out, click back in, and now we can actually go. So let's see how this is all going to work now. I haven't really done it like this. I haven't gone to the cattle farm before. But this should be fine. There are no crossings or intersections or whatever in between here and the next destination. So unless the switches now want to mess with me as well, we should be fine. And yeah, the train is going quite a bit faster now that all the load is gone. Just the empty cars now. The problem is, theoretically, I kinda need to go back the same way I came from, so that means going over the crossings and everything, and I don't really want to do that. The thing with the freight depot and why I'm approaching it backwards is that, well, you're gonna see it in a moment, but basically I cannot reach both sides from either side of the surrounding area. And I don't think there's enough space to make a corner to go the other way, so since all the boxcars are on the back, they kinda need to go in first, and yeah, it's gonna make sense once we get there. I should maybe also just add a bit more firewood. Just so that we don't lose boiler pressure here. That was suspicious there. Did you notice that the engine kinda just had it skipped a beat or something? At least it felt like that. I mean, the cars are still all on here, so we should be fine. But yeah, it's safe to say that after all that happened so far, I don't really trust the game with anything anymore. Okay, I think, yeah, this is the new siding that I made. It's just a little runaround to get stuff loaded at the one side of the freight depot where we actually have a crane. So we might just cut the regulator at this point. There's also no helper engine in this yard. It's basically just, yeah, self-checkout. Also, I should really fill the tender for the engine. It's kind of going low. And I'm seeing something up ahead that I'm not too happy about. I need to flip the switches. So let's quickly do that. And yeah, that should be fine. Let's get back in there, take a look at the last car. And then now we're going again. Of course, with slack between the cars, it always is a bit delayed until you finally notice that the engine is actually pushing again. And yeah, this is the exact reason why I need to go in here backwards. Because we need to be on this side of a freight depot and there's only this tech going in. And going in forward, well, it's kind of a waste of space and we don't have all that much to begin with. So let's hit the brakes. It's looking pretty good actually. I didn't know if we would hit it that well. But yeah, now we just load the stuff up and that should be going pretty quick here. Maybe I could also just put the track a bit further away from the platform. Not really looking that nice with the crane clipping into the car. Thankfully there's no collision. Imagine the crane just throwing the car off the track because it's too close. That would be not amazing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I tried this before. But if I were to add a switch over here and try to get the cars to come in from this side, it's just, the corner would be too tight. It doesn't really work. Maybe if I put the switch far enough up in this direction, that might be okay, but I don't know. And yeah, then we could be using this runaround and we could actually drive in here forwards and then just push everything into the back. But as it is right now, yeah, this is how we have to do it. Okay, first car loaded up. Let's get the whole thing to reverse and line up the second one. I'm also not too sure if I shouldn't turn the train around at this point, because we are going to have all the loaded cars at the back now and the empties at the front, which doesn't really fill me with much confidence, to be honest. I don't think that's how we should be doing that, but yeah. That would add much more complexity to the operations, just having to deal with turning the train around at one point to get here and then turning it back around once we are at the wheat farm again. I don't know if I could actually go the other way around for the cattle farm. I don't know. But yeah, that's always gonna be a bit weird, because sometimes the bright red box cars are empty, sometimes the bulkhead cars are empty. So yeah, it's tough getting one of the empties at the back of the train consistently. Okay, second one is full. Let's push ahead a little bit again. And yeah, the reason why I wanted the boxcars to come in first is because, well, of course we have some space limitations in that area. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could likely turn this into a bit of a loop. I don't know if there would be exactly enough space for that, but yeah, there could be something that I could try here. But yeah, I also want to have this as an unloading area, so that's not really gonna happen. At least the seed pallets refill fast enough so that I shouldn't need to wait for any of them. We are going to load, I think, 126 over here. So yeah, thankfully we're not gonna be running out of them anytime soon with how quickly they respawn. We are slowly going down, but it should hopefully be alright. I mean, we got 28, this would be at 40 now, and we are still halfway full, so yeah, I hope it's gonna work out. Might go a little bit slower after a while, but yeah, capacity for these kind of industries doesn't really seem to matter all that much. Also, we are going to have to cut the train at some point, because we are going to end up at the stopper before we get to the crane with the frontmost cars. So gonna have to pull some of them on the other track here and then keep going. But yeah, I might have to try something over here. Again, I'm still more keen on the yard building and figuring out that kind of stuff, especially now that with the other set of industries, some things have become a bit more complex. Now that we don't just use the freight depot for unloading. But yeah, if everything else about the game is a pain to deal with, then it's not gonna be good enough trying to get all of that done. Because some of it, after all, comes from actually playing the game, doing the train runs, bringing the stuff over. And if I just go for yard building, that doesn't happen, and I might not even find out some of the problems that I could be facing otherwise. So that kind of makes the entire thing a bit mute. I was also seriously considering just doing a PowerPoint presentation episode for the fun of it. But I don't really want to go through the pain of trying to prepare that, including whatever graphics and pictures I would need to convey everything that I would want to talk about, and yeah, I don't know if there's really a point in all of that to begin with. Okay, we should have space for 2 more cars, but yeah, there are more like 4 of them to go. Yeah, I could likely get a few more meters out of this if I was to bend the track around here. The only thing that I don't really like about what I'm doing right now is that I'm going to put the stuff onto this track here, and that's really not meant for that. But with how everything turned out, yeah, it doesn't really all work how I would like it to. So ideally I should still be figuring out how I want to do this entire yard exactly. Yeah, pretty much just enough space for another car. We might actually cut the train at this point, just or break it. Just taking off these cars and then coming back here so that the seat pallets can regenerate. We are getting a bit low on them after all. But yeah, everything else here, I mean, when it comes to the last industry, I haven't even connected that one yet. It's down over here by the sawmill. I mean, just adding another track over here coming around, that should be fine, but maybe I want this area to be a bit more complex. And as per usual, I would be just making a very simple kind of yard, like what we have at the cattle farm right now. I think the crane has stopped. And yeah, once I do the first delivery run, then I'm gonna be coming back to the whole thing and trying to improve it. We might as well get the last car loaded up here. I don't know if I even need to hit the brace, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I think I didn't even hit the stopper, I don't think. Yeah, it lost a few more meters left, but doesn't really matter. So yeah, when it comes to the yards, I usually do something very simple like over here, and then try to figure out what I actually need from that yard while just trying to do a few deliveries and then coming up with ideas like, oh, it would be nice if I could do this thing here, maybe add a helper engine, maybe connect the tracks at the back to be able to approach things from the other side, I don't know. Have a few more sidings, have a supply area maybe, although I don't think I really need that over here. But stuff like that, that's considerations that come up during the operation, and I don't know. I think this one might end up being just a very simple one because it's kind of straightforward. Would need to get a few cattle cars, they could always stay here and then just have like a itsy bitsy train going around here and bringing the stuff over to the meatpacking plant, turning around, coming back here, and that would be its own thing. And yeah, I would likely be using just the regular water train to deliver the water here, cutting it down to 10 cars instead of 12 and going from there. We are full on this one, so yeah, let's pull everything ahead. Gonna take a little moment here. I mean, I could also park the cars on the runaround. That doesn't really make much of a difference. You know what, let's be a bit more proper and do that instead. Maybe not go too fast here, because we just need to be careful that we get all the cars on here, and we don't want to be running out the other end. Bit further so we fully clear the switching area. Okay, let's find the point where we can cut the train apart. And yeah, this one is full, this one is empty, so we remove this link and that should be alright. And yeah, ideally you wanna do this from the other direction. Just having the engine on that end so that we don't need to do what I am going to do now. But yeah, with the long engine and especially the 4 bulkhead cars here, this wouldn't really work how I wanted to. Because if I were to come in the other side first or the other direction, everything here would be at the freight depot. I don't know how many cars I would be able to get to the crane to begin with. So this direction is better, but it also means that I now need to pull the entire rest of the train ahead and get around the runaround this way. Which I don't usually like doing, but anyways, it's not that big of a deal here. Not like we need to repeat this step over and over. This is just gonna be a one-time thing. So just gonna be bringing the last 2 cars back there. Getting them loaded, putting everything back together, and then I still don't know. I don't want to go back that way because the crossings are likely gonna mess me up again. We might have to use the Y at the cattle farm to turn the train around and come back through here. But first, let's get all of this loaded up. Also, what's funny, I made another track a while ago and I never got to use it. So over here we have, right behind the industry here, right behind the freight depot. I hate this stupid mouse thing. So right behind the freight depot we have part of the main line with a switchback. The switchback is really just so that we can get into the freight depot. So if I want to take some stuff from this part of my map, maybe from the smelter, getting some rails or getting the barrels from the refinery and bring them over to the freight depot, then it's a good idea to use the switchback because that brings us down right before we would be entering that industry. But in addition to that, I made another switch over here that allows me to bypass the entire thing and just go straight on with a constant 2% grade as the rest of the track and then come down somewhere around here just before all the Ys here. Never used it. Bit of a shame, but well. I just basically I'm dealing with the industries that you are seeing right now. So I'm not just going to other places and trying to set up stuff over there. Would likely need to do some of it for coal supply for the meatpacking plant if I was to go there. But as it is right now, I'm really mainly doing what you are seeing here. I'm preparing some stuff off screen, reworking the yards and everything, adding new functions. But running the stuff is, well, you mostly see what you get there. Or you get what you see, I don't know. I'm mostly doing it during the recording now. That's what I mean. And yeah, it's working out as well as you would expect. I kind of wish my episodes wouldn't end with me being just angry all the time, but I think that's partially on the game with how it's behaving. So yeah, I can't really do much about it if it's constantly just derailing. And another 2. I know that I'm slightly overloading the cars. I should really only be getting 120, but I mean, in the end, if I were to do this over and over and fill up the wheat farm at some point, 6 of them would either get wasted at the wheat farm or be staying in the car, and doesn't really matter much. After all, these things are free and I didn't need to do anything to get them produced. So I don't mind this all that much. Anyways, finally back on the... not really on the road. The main line. We are gonna go on there, but first we need to reconnect here with the rest of our train. It's gonna be like a major family reunion. After maybe 5 minutes apart. And then we're gonna have to see if I can bring the whole thing back without any derailing. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go, but yeah, ideally I would like to. Still, at this point, with how sketchy everything has been, yeah, I think I'm kind of starting to make up my mind about going on hiatus again. It's just, I don't know. Even just having to consider that constant derailings are a problem when running trains, even if it doesn't happen every time. Just the thought that it could happen, having to constantly save, and yeah, not really being able to enjoy it, it's a bummer. So I'd hope the next update, or the next 2 updates, whatever, they really should be taking care of all of this, because it's not really that enjoyable anymore. Now I also need to be careful not to ram into these cars too quickly, because otherwise all of my... likely the bulkhead cars are going to jump off the track if I'm not careful. Because not only did they not fix anything, or they didn't fix enough from the broken stuff with physics and all of that, they added another major problem with the last update. So I gotta be very careful here, because those cars are most likely not gonna budge. Yeah. Anyways, it worked out this time, and that's all that I need. Can I still reconnect? Okay, that still counts. Fine by me. I thought the cars would just be sticking together at this point. But apparently they bounce back forward. And yeah, I'm gonna save here real quick. Just before anything goes wrong. So let's go. The order right now is to get back to the cattle farm, or at least get on the Y. Turn the train around through that, and then stay on the main line. We are not gonna go through here anymore. We are gonna stay on that track and then go past the freight depot that way. So while the engine is doing its best to pull all the cars through, let's just set up the switches ahead, just so that everything is going to work out. These are set up correctly. And Yeah, this one is... Oh, there's another intersection. This is going well, and everything else after that should also be working out for us. Okay, don't want to go too quickly here. One more switch that I should be checking out is actually at the wheat farm. Assuming we are going to make it that far, that's, yeah. Okay, that's also correct there, that should be alright. I accidentally hit the switch for the bell, I'm sorry. Okay, just gonna make it past the switch over here and then we should be good. Can already hit the brakes because that's gonna take a while. Never mind, we are actually slowing down quite quickly. It would also help that if in this camera we would go to the actual car on the that we are focusing on right now with the minimap, because then I could be flipping the switch. But since we are still focused on the locomotive, well, I kinda need to get out of here and do it through the full screen map. I refuse to call it maxi map because that's kind of like a that's a weird term. Oh yeah, full steam backwards, not full steam ahead. Because we now need to reverse out of here again through the other part of the Y, and then we can actually keep going. Did I flip the switch at the... No, I didn't flip that one. This is actually the one that's going to keep us on the main line. Have us go past the freight depot instead of through the yard. So pretty important that we take care of that as well. Okay, everything back here is looking alright. And yeah, we just need to make it through the switch right here. And now we go full steam ahead. And I'm going to put on another save just in case, because, well, you never know. And yeah, we made about 1.5, 1.4k from this. Just delivering the goods to the cattle farm. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, really we should be doing this at high speed now. This should be a cakewalk just getting back home. Barely any grades. Wide turns. Nothing really that could go wrong realistically. But there's that one 45-degree crossing that I'm not trusting. There are quite a few switches and who knows what else. By the way, between episodes I also took care of that one long spline that we derailed on the last time. So that's now two slightly shorter ones. Don't know if that was ever the problem, but who knows at this point. Yeah, sometimes I just see the camera shaking because for some reason the engine kinda tilts a little. And that's always making me pretty worried. And yeah, ideally we should be fine using this speed, slightly over 20 miles per hour. I could try pulling the reverser back, we should be able to go almost 30, but... yeah... I don't even trust this speed right now, this could end in tragic. Or in tragedy. Yeah, I think this might have been the steepest grade of the journey right now. Just lifting it up a little bit in order to clear the part behind the freight depot, and now we are going back down already. I don't think this track is realistic at all, unless you like a super rich railway and have a lot of operations going, because otherwise you would just go through the yard, I reckon. But then again, I don't really know. I can see through the ground. Maybe not anymore. But yeah, this is going well. We still have all the cars. But then we're gonna have to see about that crossover, which is gonna come up pretty soon, I think, once we get into the clearing for the lumberyard, when we should be pretty close to that. I hope it's not gonna give me any grief, but I don't know, and you know what? This is really just my paranoia at this point, but let's save again. The good thing is, if I load back in, it's gonna be, the train is gonna be stopped. Oh, here we are. Okay, that's working out. Okay, nice. I think it sometimes happens if you go through the other side. So we might have just been through the correct one here. So one of them is good, the other one not that much. And yeah, passing by the lumberyard and the logging camp. This is, by the way, where that other track going to the other side of the valley reconnects here. But yeah, from this direction we really don't have any business going through there. And even if we don't really have anything that we need on the other side, apart from maybe the empty bulkheads, but yeah. I don't know, I maybe should have ended the whole oil field, crude oil delivery thing by just actually loading up the barrels and everything, but truth be told, I never took care of anything at the refinery after that. So not really anything happening there. It might actually be a bit quicker now, just see how this goes. Because really, this is the easiest track that really shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, just coming back with our supplies on the same evening as we left, partially because I also just stopped the time at some point. Yeah, this is working out. I'm gonna cut the power now and let it coast because we are about to come up on some other stuff here. Maybe even hit the brakes a little bit. Just to be safe. And there's the stupid tender jumping off the rail again. Let's see if it can... Nope. Doesn't fix itself. And we just lost the car thanks to that. I don't know why it even did that. We weren't even on a switch or anything. The whole thing just decided to do a little joy jumping, skip around like a dipshit on the track, and this is what we got for that. I think it was also as I let go of the brake, so yeah. I could have understood it buckling under the brake if there's too much pressure coming in from behind. After all, my train isn't really set up that well with heavy loaded cars on the back, and yeah, the front ones being empty. That's not a good idea for the entire thing, and really you want to also brake from the back, which I cannot do right now. But this thing, what the hell was that even? So we're just coasting now, and I don't even want to stop the engine. I want to actually go back here and try and stop the cars, because then I can re-rail the missing one back in front of that. So let's pull two brakes, let's go and get the lost car. And yeah, shit like this is why I'm taking these kind of breaks. You couldn't pay me to do this all the time. Okay, let's see. I hope it's on about even ground here so it doesn't just roll backwards. Doesn't seem to happen. Nice. And now we can try and catch the engine. It's actually a bit of an incline here, so it should be slowing down. Ah, there it is. Still rolling. Must have got some good bearings on it. But yeah, we're gonna go and catch back up with the rest of the train. We almost made it without a problem here, but yeah, almost. So yeah, I think it's about time I get the science out again, write down the stuff that I'm considering for this whole thing, and then leave it off until maybe I come back at some point. But yeah, at this point I might actually make another episode. There is something else that I want to show you guys, and I would have put it in here, but yeah, the whole thing got too long already. So we might do that the next episode, and that's gonna be the end of it for now. It's not gonna have anything to do with the industries that we had dealings with today, or really any industries, I don't think. At least not primarily. But yeah, that was something that I wanted to show you guys towards the end of the series, and even if this is more like a temporary break, who knows? I think it's about time we do that. And yeah, as to be expected, the car didn't budge, so we have to move back a little bit more. I don't know what they messed up with the couplers either, it's so strange. Because I think they tried to fix that exact behavior of them going into each other on the large gondolas, but yeah, now it's on all the other cars apparently. And yeah, I'm not gonna be doing any unloading here. We're just gonna bring the train in, and that's gonna be it here. But yeah, at least I want to get this run finished. In hindsight, the loading actually took quite a bit longer than I expected. But yeah, still with being able to do it from the cars and then just remote controlling the cranes, that's working out quite well, I think. Also, I'm glad that I'm not using the little cars anymore. That was quite a pain on our falls. It would still be much better right now with everything that they added, but yeah, it's nicer having some larger cars and just having more to load into them instead of constantly trying to readjust. And I don't know how it is right now, but the smaller cars used to have some detection issues. And you would very often have the crane load into one car, but the cargo actually lands in another one. None of the problems that you have to deal with using just the full-size cars here. Which from what I heard might also be on the shorter end. I think the real full-size length is more like the large gondolas and passenger train, that kind of deal, the coaches, mail car, etc. Don't know if we'll ever get more of that, but I mean, you saw these episodes, you know that the game has a few other issues apart from maybe expanding the roster of rolling stock. Anyways, we are here now, and that's gonna be enough. Otherwise, I would need to reverse into the industry on this end. Get my trusty old Shay over here and then start unloading. And yeah, I mean, it would work and everything. But I don't really want to do that right now. The episode is pretty long as it is already, so yeah, we are going to end the operations right here. And all that's left for me is to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, despite, I mean, yeah, I'm not really in the best mood about the game right now after dealing with all the derailments. So thanks again for watching, and see you next time. Have a good one, and bye bye.